40 million people in America in the next couple of days are going to lose their access to food. And we're bailing out Argentina and building the big, beautiful room on the side of the White House. These people don't care about you. He doesn't care about you. None of them do.
I'm going to tell you, I'm starting to get real suspicious of whatever Trump is doing with Argentina. You already know that Trump has blown up the Chinese market for American soybeans. And now Argentina is sending their soybeans to China. And then we bailed out Argentina to the tune of $40 billion. Now look at this. Trump is suggesting that America is going to buy beef from Argentina to bring down prices for the American consumers. Yeah, American beef is high. You know why? Because there's a monopoly. But instead of addressing the monopoly, he's going to import beef from Argentina, who has already taken the American soybean market and has already been bailed out by the American taxpayers. So now we're blowing up the American beef market too? Trump has to be doing the bidding of another country to destroy America. There is no way you can make any of this make any sense.
American farmers are watching their livelihood collapse and still cheering for the guy telling us to buy beef from somewhere else. Let's talk psychology. He's not appealing to self-interest. He's triggering a trauma bond, the same pattern where people cling tighter the more they're devalued. It's the illusion of belonging after betrayal. He's mastered identity fusion, convincing followers that loyalty to him is loyalty to self or country. So even when the policies hurt them, their brain registers defiance as self-harm. He doesn't need to win every argument. He just needs to keep the bond alive. That's why you'll see people lose their farms and say, "Thank you, sir." Because in this kind of conditioning, pain feels like proof of faith.
With all of it, the beef, the ranchers, let's say, who have done a great job, have lost their shirts for many, many years. They've really been decimated. And I helped them a lot. I put tariffs on things coming in to the country, including beef. And that gave them a chance to finally have a decent industry. We are going to be talking to them. They're great people, but they've been hurt for 25, 30 years. They've been losing because other countries have taken advantage of them. And by putting tariffs on, they've been able to make a few dollars. They've been able to have an industry. But I also want to keep the beef prices low. So prices are way down. Groceries are down. Everything's down. Energy's way down. Even interest rates with a bad chairman of the Fed. He's terrible. He's a fool. But even interest rates are down.
Why is our tax money being sent to Argentina to fix the mess conservatives started? You see, Argentine President Javier Milei is struggling to keep his supporters because he doesn't have the best track record. Trump and Milei are besties, so now he's trying to fund Argentina to rescue the economy so Milei can win in the upcoming midterm election. Basically, he's letting his friend borrow money to secure a win. People are seeing right through this and are warning others that their health insurance premiums will skyrocket. But you know who's more mad about this than MAGA themselves? Soybean farmers. Due to our president's impulsive decisions, the trade for American soybeans has been a shitstorm. China, who was our #1 customer, didn't want to deal with Trump and started buying from South America, but more so Argentina. Less soybeans being sold means less income. Donald Trump can sit here and easily say that this isn't going to make a big difference because he's not the one who is hurting by his own hands.
Nothing says I saved American ranchers like destroying American ranchers.
So I'm very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that. Yeah, Brian?
This is rich. Trump sitting there in his gold-plated room, patting himself on the back about how the ranchers are so happy, how he saved them, how he wouldn't even have beef without him. Absolutely delusional. Because while he's jerking himself off about saving ranchers, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association, you know, the people who actually ranch cattle, released this. They're calling his plan the wrong approach that creates chaos and does nothing to lower grocery store prices. They're not mincing words here. They literally had to at the White House and beg him to stop screwing them over. They're asking him to let cattle markets work without interference. Translation: please stop pretending to help us while you stab us in the back. And Meriwether Farms, they called it exactly what it is, an absolute betrayal to the American cattle rancher. Not disappointing, not concerning, betrayal. So here's what actually happened. Trump's tariffs jack up beef prices. American ranchers can't compete. His solution? Import cheaper beef from Argentina to undercut American ranchers he claims to love, while prices still don't drop for consumers. Everybody loses except Argentina. This is what you voted for, MAGA. This, the guy who wrapped himself in the flag and promised to protect American workers, is selling out American ranchers to cover for his own failed trade policy. And the kicker, the ranchers screaming about this, a lot of them probably voted for him twice. He does not care about you. He cares about the headline. He cares about the photo op. He cares about being able to lie to your face and say, I saved the ranchers, while they're literally behind him yelling, no, you didn't. But please, tell me again how he's the champion of the working class. I'll wait. Spoiler alert, he never was.
Donald Trump is now blaming farmers and ranchers for high food prices, suggesting they don't understand their business as well as he does. Now, as you know, food prices across the board are rising quickly, with beef in particular going sky high. And Donald Trump has done little to address these prices except slap on more tariffs and import beef from Argentina. Well, Trump has received pushback by farmers on this, and Trump has responded by saying cattle ranchers don't understand that the only reason they're doing well is because of the tariffs. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get prices down, because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. That's right, cattle ranchers. You're the reason beef is high. You've raised your prices too high, and what you need to understand is that it's Donald Trump's tariffs are the reason you're doing well, and now you need to lower the prices for the American consumer. The President of the United States is not blaming his tariffs. He is blaming the American food producers for the high prices. This is the current state we're in.
Donald Trump just had the nerve to say that he saved American ranchers and that we wouldn't even have beef in this country if it wasn't for him. He's saying this as he's actively flooding the U.S. market with cheap imported Argentina beef, undercutting American farmers and driving them into bankruptcy. Even Trump-supporting ranchers say they feel betrayed. Look at this.
Very happy about that. We're going to do something very quickly and easily on beef to get it down. The ranchers understand that. They're so happy for what I've done. I saved them. I don't think you'd have any beef in this country if I didn't do that. So we're very proud of that. Yep.
Isn't that just unbelievable? He could not be more delusional if he tried. Trump has the nerve to say he saved U.S. ranchers while his trade policies are actively crippling them. His choice to massively increase beef imports from Argentina has caused U.S. cattle prices to plummet. Independent ranchers, the backbone of rural America, are being squeezed out while multinational meat corporations are profiting off of cheap foreign supply. The irony here is painful. Many of these ranchers supported Trump in both elections, believing his America First lie. But now, even lifelong Republican farmers from places like Texas to Oklahoma to Arkansas are starting to speak out. And rightfully so. He betrayed them. He sold out to foreign producers and lied straight to their faces. And to add insult to injury, he's now on TV saying these ranchers should be thanking him despite the fact they're going bankrupt because of his policies. A billionaire is helping massive corporations and not the American people. How surprising is that?
Who knew that importing beef from Argentina was going to leave American farmers and ranchers questioning Trump's loyalties? First, the tariff wars undercut American soybean farmers, and now Trump is importing beef from Argentina. They want to know what's going on here. It turns out President Trump is threading the needle. While he's making deals with Argentina to keep China out of our backyard, he also has to face the reality that beef prices have not come down, and the American consumer feels it every time they check out at the grocery store. By allowing a fraction of Argentine beef into the U.S., he's putting just enough pressure on domestic producers to keep prices in check. And that's where the tension comes in. Ranchers are frustrated because they've seen stable profits thanks to strong demand, even at all-time high prices. But Trump has to decide, does he prioritize the producers of an industry or the pocketbooks of 330 million Americans heading into the holiday season? It's a complicated issue. We can't get hysterical or treat this like betrayal, because sometimes leadership means making uncomfortable trade-offs for the betterment of all Americans, not just one segment. Maybe the real answer isn't blocking imports, but removing the red tape that drives up producers' costs so ranchers can grow their herds and compete freely. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing: affordable food, strong farms, and a stable America. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Donald Trump has already hurt farmers across the country, either through immigration policies or trade policies, with maybe the exception of corn farmers when he signed off that allows ethanol to be produced at an increased level year-round, including the amount put in our fuel. But now, He's hurting ranchers. And the beef ranchers in this country are notoriously petty. Do you remember when they sued Oprah because she said don't eat red beef? Well, now Donald Trump is planning on buying beef from Argentina to help the ranchers in Argentina and, in his theory and mind, to lower beef prices in the United States. He's going to bring live beef in from Argentina to the U.S. to lower prices. But the problem is there's nobody to process that beef because he has deported all of the workers. The people who worked at the meat processing plants across the country were overwhelmingly immigrants, and overwhelmingly they have left those jobs either on their own to protect themselves and their families, or they've been deported in raids. So I don't know where he's planning on this beef being processed. We don't even have enough processing power in the country to process the beef that ranchers in the U.S. want processed. But beef ranchers and senators for beef-producing states overwhelmingly are against this plan, and they're throwing a fit, with the beef industry saying that this would destroy the beef industry in the United States, that with the struggles that they're already going through thanks to immigration policies, that Donald Trump is on a path that would dismantle beef production in the U.S. if he continues with this plan to buy live beef from Argentina and import it in an attempt to lower costs. Once again, Donald Trump is proving that he doesn't care about the people that voted for him. He only cares about the people that pay him and the people that paid for him to get reelected so he could help make them more billions.
Hey, rural American here with a question for my farmers and ranchers. How many times does this man have to screw you over for you to accept or even consider the possibility that he doesn't actually give a about you? Because he's now talking about buying a bunch of beef from Argentina, intentionally driving down the prices that American ranchers can get for their cattle in the process. And that's after he already gave Argentina $20 billion with a B over American farmers in the process after Argentina said, hey, thanks for the cash, you gullible fool. Now we can sell our soybeans to for super cheap and leave American farmers without anywhere to sell their crops. He is literally driving y'all into bankruptcy. Rural Americans are losing the farms and ranches that have been in our families for generations because of his dumb inability to make smart geopolitical decisions. He even has the audacity to talk down to y'all and say that y'all are the ones who just don't understand how tariffs work and that what he's doing is actually for your benefit. You know, losing the farm and ranch land that you've dreamed of handing down to your kids someday, just like your daddy did for you and his daddy did for him and on and on. Yeah, he's insisting that losing all of that is for your benefit, not his. And then on top of all of that, his administration is profiting off of y'all going into bankruptcy and losing everything that you've worked for your entire life. Do you realize that? His VP literally invested in an app that allows foreign investors to come in and snatch up y'all's farm and ranch land after they have successfully driven you off of it. So again, I must ask, what the is it going to take for y'all to realize that siding with him is siding with your own destruction?
Trump is now questioning the intelligence of American cattle ranchers. He just said the cattle ranchers, who I love, don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put a tariff on the cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years, terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. I don't think he's questioning their intelligence, but he is highlighting a key tension. American cattle farmers do better when the price of beef is higher, and Trump has used tariff to cut off foreign supply and prioritize our farmers, but now the price of beef is at all-time highs, which is bad for the consumer. Oh, so Trump is starting to see the unintended effects of tariffs we've been warned about, but also the reason beef prices are so high extend beyond tariffs. It's because of a drought, record high feed costs, and the smallest U.S. cattle herd in 75 years. So although prices are high, many American cattle ranchers are still struggling. One of the reasons we're seeing this small U.S. cattle herd is because foreign countries have long flooded our markets with lower quality meats, yet our farmers have been constrained constrained by their access to international markets, forcing many ranchers to close shop, which is the problem tariffs are trying to solve. The solution Trump is offering now is to buy more Argentina beef and flood our markets even more, while our ranchers are begging for other solutions. For instance, passing Republican Thomas Massey's, who is a cattle rancher himself, his Prime Act, which would deregulate and allow for easier local buying from ranchers, and other things like administrating mandatory country of origin labeling, stopping China from buying our farmland, and breaking up the 4 big packers that control 85% of our beef market, among other actions to reinvigorate American ranchers, not just flood the market. And I'm sure Trump is considering all those options, but in the short term, the American consumer can use some price relief. And we already import about 12% of our beef supply, and since Brazilian beef is 50% more expensive now due to the tariffs, buying from Argentina to fill that gap doesn't sound crazy. What sounds crazy is looking for global solutions when you ran on America first. Okay, now you're the one sounding like the isolationist. Welp.
President Trump has spent way too much time talking to foreign leaders and not enough time talking to our very own farmers. Because he is selling out our farmers, and I don't even think he realizes it. Apparently, we're going to buy beef from Argentina, which is going to undercut our farmers who are already struggling. President Trump says it's because Argentina is broke and that they are dying. Well, the United States is broke, almost $38 trillion in debt to be specific. This is what our farmers are dealing with. Blue line is the number of farms we have each year, and every single year, family farms are closing down. The corporate farms keep buying up all the land and consolidating. Average age of a farmer is 58 years old, and there's not enough new farmers coming in. So what are we going to do when all of these farmers retire? It's really no secret why people don't want to become farmers, because investors like our very own vice president keep buying up all the farmland. There's one company alone that JD Vance invests in that is buying up all the farmland, which increases the price. So now families can't compete with the big investors. And 84% of farm households earned at least half their total income from off-farm sources, meaning that farmers have second and even third jobs to support themselves. They are making nothing off their farming business. That's because of the mass consolidation of the meatpacking industry. 4 big companies process 85% of the beef in the United States, and 2 of these are foreign. And this is the crazy thing. As the prices of beef have increased at the store, farmers are actually making less money because of these 4 meat packers who are shorting our farmers but increasing prices at the store. How did these 4 companies get all this power in the first place? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1 is overregulation, where small packers literally can't afford to jump through all of the hoops the USDA has put in place. Number 2, predatory prices. So these corporate packers came in, had super low prices at first, put everyone else out of business, and then when there was no one left, they spiked their prices. Meanwhile, Speaker Johnson has kept the House in recess for weeks, saying that, oh, we did our job, we passed the CR bill, forgetting that the House has a lot more responsibilities than just passing a CR once a year. Like right now, we need to pass the Prime Act, which would allow farmers to go to any state-approved packer and not just one of the big 4. And we need a bill to enforce country of origin labeling. Right now, if you go to the store and you see a meat package that says made in America, it doesn't actually mean that it was made in America. Cows could be born, raised, and blank outside the United States, but still have the made in the USA sticker. We deserve to know if our meat is coming from Argentina or an American farmer. This is what we need to do. We have 2 senators and we have 1 House of Representative. I always have it on my website so you can find them very easily. Reach out to them. You can either call their office or fill out a form on their website and ask for the Prime Act and for country of origin labeling. You should also learn how to grow your own food. I have to be honest, it's really disappointing that President Trump is saying Argentina is dying, because what is happening to our very own farmers? Farmer blank rates are 2 to 5 times higher than the national average. This is devastating. When you look at everything that they are up against, it's really no secret why. That's why President Trump needs to take a break from talking with foreign leaders all the time and talk to our very own farmers. And when he does that, I am sure he will see the dire situation we are in our country today. As always, let me know your thoughts about this and make sure you're following me for more.
I hope you guys know how interesting things are about to get. Many of us on the left have been warning Trump supporters that Donald Trump is a toxic narcissist, as is much of the administration, and everybody eventually gets burned, and you're going to get burned. And American cattle farmers right now, we are watching a full-blown narcissist attack against cattle farmers. So if you don't know what's going on, Trump has decided that because beef is so expensive because of his tariffs and his deportations, he's going to purchase beef from Argentina. And by flooding the market with more beef, bring the costs down for all of us. And the immediate response of the American cattle farmers, almost overwhelmingly, they probably voted for Donald Trump, are like, what? What are you doing? Why are you doing that? This is hurting us. And here's where it gets interesting. Trump responded exactly like a narcissist. He essentially said, you cattle farmers don't know how good you have it under me, which is gaslighting. And he said, you guys need to lower the price of your beef because you're basically the reason beef is so expensive. Classic narcissism, classic attack. It's classic. I can tell you right now, they are going through something. If anybody's been on the receiving end of that kind of narcissistic blow, it's traumatizing. But I got to tell you this, these Trump-supporting cattle farmers are not going to get any sympathy from other MAGA voters. See, this is also where, like if you're part of a church environment where the pastor is a narcissist and you get burned and you wake up and you start crying to the other parishioners that are still under the narcissist's spell, they turn on you. They're not going to be there to back you. These other MAGA supporters, MAGA voters, are not going to support these cattle farmers when they start turning on Donald Trump. And that's going to be another type of trauma these farmers are going to experience. Now, I, on the left, can behave just like many Trump supporters have behaved to this date and say, too bad, farmers. You asked for it. I don't care. All I care about is the price of beef is going down. Yay, Donald Trump. That's all I care about. I could say that, but I'm not MAGA. This actually hurts me to see all this, having been on the receiving end of narcissistic abuse myself. This is just pay attention, you guys. This is going to be a big awakening for that part of America.
So Trump said we should buy our beef from none other than Argentina. Imagine being a farmer, though. Like, for real. Imagine being a farmer. Back in March, when Doge, cut all that USAID funding, it put thousands of farmers at risk of losing their farms because they were selling their produce to the U.S. government. Now they don't have anyone to sell their produce to. Then thousands of farmers over the summer have realized they're going to be in the red because ain't nobody buying their soybeans because Trump started a trade war with China, and China was like, we'll buy soybeans from Brazil and Argentina. Then last week, Trump was like, we're not going to give Argentina $20 billion. We're going to give them $40 billion. And I'm going to sell it to you like it's some kind of currency swap. It's a little loany loan, we're just going to help them out because they're fighting for their life. Meanwhile, American farmers are also fighting for their life, but whatever. And now this week he was like, hey, cattle farmers, I know you're struggling because of a lot of things. The tariffs are part of it, but drought and increased grain prices and the screwworm in Mexico are all playing into this rising cost of beef. But, sorry for your bad luck. We'll just buy our beef from Argentina. Argentina, your competitor for soybeans. Now we're going to buy their beef? He could have picked any other country, literally, that exports beef, but he picked Argentina. It's peculiar. I don't know. I guess this is what winning feels like. Meanwhile, the rest of us are just screwed every time we go to the grocery store because who cares about the American people? Trump didn't run to be president because he cared about the American people. He was on a revenge tour, and we're all paying the price. Anyway, y'all have a great day.
So Donald Trump is now feuding with America's cattle ranchers, telling them that they should be thankful for him, that they are not being grateful enough, after the cattle ranchers expressed frustration that Donald Trump is importing Argentine beef in order to deal with high beef prices. So here you see a tweet where Trump attacks the U.S. cattle ranchers for their high prices and suggests that they do not understand their own industry. He says that he understands their industry much better than they do. He writes, the cattle ranchers, who I love, don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. And Trump was not done there. He then wrote, in addition to everything else, tariffs on other countries saved our cattle ranchers. It's just the complete opposite of the truth. It's just a complete and total lie. These tariffs are absolutely devastating our cattle ranchers, and they are feeling the effects. And importing Argentine beef is just yet another bailout for Argentina. It's nothing to do with America First and actually really hurts our farmers. Yesterday, Merriweather Farms wrote this whole long post. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but they said, we love and support you, but your suggestion to buy beef from Argentina to stabilize beef prices would be an absolute betrayal to the American cattle rancher. It's time to learn who this man is, Merriweather Farms. We understand that there are larger economic and geopolitical dynamics at play, including countering CCP influence in countries in our hemisphere. Argentina sells soybeans to the CCP. Donald Trump is helping the CCP by doing this. And maybe the craziest part about all this is Trump's plan doesn't even make any sense. Not only do the ranchers oppose Trump's Argentina beef imports, but exports say that it will not even lower prices at all. So here we go again, another Trump term. The farmers get screwed over again, and Trump says that they should say thank you.
Good morning. So, reading through and seeing the news. So not only has the Orange Mussolini given $40 billion to Argentina, but now to counteract the prices of beef, he's going to import beef from where? Argentina. What's in it for him? Number one, he's trying to get this man elected. But what's in it for him? Why is Argentina all of a sudden so important to him that he's helping them? And the farmers are pissed again because they've lost their soybeans to Argentina, and now they're about to lose their beef to Argentina. And you're mad, but you voted for it. And you hate us saying it. You voted for it. You voted for it. But you did. He jerked you around his first term. And it was like, Oliver, please, sir, may I have some more? And you went back. And guess what? If he ran again in 2028, you would have your hand out. Please, sir, may I have some more? And guess what? Some more is coming.
You guys hear today that Trump is going to import beef from Argentina, and he told the farmers to be thankful that he's saving U.S. farmers by importing Argentina beef, and that he knows what he's doing, and that cattle ranchers, they don't know what they're doing. And if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't be making a profit like they haven't been for the last 20 years, and they need to be thankful. And that tariffs have been saving cattle ranchers and ranchers and saving this country. Yeah, he said he knows what he's doing better than cattle ranchers. And then cattle ranchers are responding. They're like, well, we love you, Donald Trump, and we support you. But this will hurt us, but we still love you. And Donald Trump's like, yeah, I'm smarter than you. So you should just be thankful. And we're gonna bring in Argentina beef because I'm so smart. Nobody knows cattle ranching better than I do because I know everything about cattle ranching.
Back in the 60s, the dairy farmers started protesting the price of milk and cost fixing. They still had to milk their cows, but they milk their cows, fill the tank up, and then dump it on the ground. In our location, we sold to a milk company that is very large, successful, and still in business. This company told their drivers to come get the milk anyway. They cut fences, came in the middle of the night. My daddy and a few others started pulling milk trucks over at gunpoint. They'd make the driver get out, and then they'd dump the milk on the ground. They also organized in downtown Nashville, brought their milk in jugs, and dumped it out in the streets. That's my daddy right there. Yesterday morning and this morning,
I got up, looked at Facebook, and saw where the Cattlemen's Association made a post saying they were concerned about bringing in beef from Argentina. Yesterday, they said they listened closely to Congress. This stuff behind me in pictures is what gets stuff done. Not Facebook posts saying we are concerned about the situation. The only way you reach change and get things done is when you stop being polite, you grow a set, and you do things like this.